got you a little gift that
What?
one of our artists.
What? What is this? Oh, wow. That's awesome. Wow.
Can I take a picture of you with it?
Of course you can.
Amazing.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's awesome.
No worries.
No one else brought gifts.
So, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yes. Where do we pick up from the first film?
We start about 2 years after the end of the original Ant-Man. And when we were doing this movie, we knew obviously we were a sequel to Ant-Man, but also kind of a sequel to Captain America Civil War. We could not ignore what Scott Lang went off and did. He took the suit, got involved with infighting, got captured, the suit got confiscated, and I could not ignore the fact that this is Hank Pym's worst nightmare. He's gonna be pissed off, and Hope Van Dyne is gonna feel betrayed. So that gave us a really organic jumping off point for this movie. And also in a movie that's really about the partnership between Ant-Man and the Wasp, it was really great that we could start. Scott is on house arrest. Hank and Hope have had to go underground because they're in violation of the Sokovia Accords. And we start this movie with them estranged. They're not in each other's lives. So that was, that felt really, really good to us. I've never done a sequel before, and I really like sequels that sort of start from a point where the audience has to play a little bit of catch up. Everybody who's ever directed a sequel probably talks about like, oh, The Empire Strikes Back. That's a great example of a sequel that maybe got better than the first movie. And when I saw that movie, you know, I always felt like there's so many great things about it, but I liked that, wait, they're on a snow planet now, and what's happened? You had to play all this catch up, and I think there's something really rich about that.
So, how long have you been Ant-Man again?
Not long. It just sort of happened.
I wish I could fight bad guys like you.
I seem to mess it up almost every time.
Maybe you just need someone watching your back.
It takes you away from the trauma of Avengers. So how does it feel to not have to deal with that storyline, go with something a bit fun?
Yeah, no, it's nice. I mean, all these movies obviously have to tie together in the grand scheme of the universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but we never really had to service Infinity Stones or anything like that. We could really tell just the story of these families, of Scott and Cassie Lang and Hank Pym and Hope Van Dyne, and now, you know, adding some new characters to that. I like it because it really allows us to kind of, you know, be a little bit more intimate with the storytelling. And we have big stakes in the movie, but, you know, they're intensely personal stakes. It really is about, you know, a daughter who has the potential to get her mother back after 30 years. That seems like pretty big stakes to me.
You opened up the quantum realm. That's when this crazy creepy ghost who like walks through walls and stuff. Stole your tech. Now she wants to take over the world or whatever. Who would have believed that in your hour of need, you would turn to us?
Not me.
Because we robbed you. Do you remember? That's us.
Janet Van Dyne, Michelle Pfeiffer, I heard that you watched her movies back to back before doing this film. Is that right?
You know, I'd seen almost all of her movies, but I wanted to go back and rewatch her movies. And when you watch all the movies, you're just struck by what incredible range she has. Two of my favorite movies of all time are Married to the Mob and Fabulous Baker Boys. And she could not be more different in those movies. But even in the drama, she just brings this thing. She just has that thing. She's a Hollywood star. She has that indefinable thing where just like you put her in front of a camera and it's like, oh my God, the camera loves her. And Michael Douglas happens to have that too. We have an incredible cast in the movie. But yeah, she was my one and only choice for Janet. I really had no backup plan, which is a terrible thing as a director to have no backup plan. But in that case, I had no backup plan. She just seemed like the person.
The only chance we've got is both of you.
Ant-Man and the Wasp teaming up.
Follow my lead.
What's your favorite thing about going to the cinema?
My favorite thing about going to a cinema as opposed to watching a movie, you know, at home is the communal experience. Like I grew up in North Carolina, and there was a movie theater there called the Cardinal Theater when I was a kid, and I just like I went a lot as a kid. It was a giant theater. It had 70 millimeter capabilities at the time. there's a reverence there. Like you're in a dark room and you're having this experience with a lot of other people, and you're all reacting or laughing or crying at the same time to something. And I think it's a really powerful experience. And also just to see something so large on a screen that it's not, even if you have a giant screen TV at home, this is different. And it feels like it's time to cut off the phone and you're not going to stop and pause. It's just an experience that sort of shut everything out for a little while and submit to this story.
You go low, I'll go high.
I have wings. Why would I go low?
We're gonna die. I don't wanna die. We didn't die!
And what's your favorite film of all time, if you could name one?
My favorite film of all time is the original Planet of the Apes from 1968. Yeah, it was the movie that got me so excited as a kid and really got me excited about how movies were made.
And that's what got you into...
Yeah, no, it was the thing. I was super passionate about it. And I loved everything from, the makeup and the production design to the Rod Serling script. The story was amazing to me. How specific it got with building this world and the sort of, the gorillas, the chimpanzees, the orangutans, the whole caste system of the ape city, everything. I was all in. I loved it.
It takes two to make a thing go right.
I was partners with Hank on a project called Goliath.
How big did you get?
My record, 21 feet. You?
65 feet.
65.
If you two are finished comparing sizes,
65.